Hello, my name is Bruce Sawalski. I am author of Canadian Wilderness Survival, Chief Instructor of the Boreal Wilderness Institute, and today I would like to talk about critical item number 10, bow saws. So if you like to learn real survival knowledge, please support me by following me on YouTube and liking this video. So why bow saws? Why is this a critical item? The reason this is a critical item is it's a huge lifesaver when stranded overnight in the mountains and in the forests of the north, whether that's northern Canada, northern Europe, or northern Asia. Right? I teach here in Canada at the Boreal Wilderness Institute in Edmonton, and this item, when I go into the montane, into the mountains, when I go into the boreal forest, is a true lifesaver. And when we talk about critical items, I always break critical items up. I talk about the top 3, the things you just absolutely can never go without. And that is the proper clothing, the multiple means to light fire, and a good survival knife. We go on 5 to 8. Those are items you should always have with you. 9, I have an extra video, a specific video on like this, on the first item you can't replicate easily in the woods, and that's a pot. And the second item we can't replicate easily in the woods is a bow saw. And why is that? Well, there's 2 reasons. Number 1, and first and most importantly, is if I have no saw or axe, no ability to split wood, I will waste about 20% of my fire. So in other words, I will end up collecting 20% more wood. Second one is this bow saw. This is a 50 centimeter, 21 inch bow saw. This bow saw will cut through 10 centimeter or 3 inch logs with 1/4 of the calories of an axe. And larger, anything, 10 centimeters or larger, that's the deal. So now what you're doing is most of the wood, when you're needing overnight, you're looking for 10, 20, 30 centimeter logs. Those logs are you're gonna get 4 more logs with this for the calories you expend. And you only have so many calories. You only have so much time to do that, and only so much time to collect wood. Matter of fact, collecting wood is one of the biggest challenges that we have out in the northern forest overnight in winter. It is an extreme survival challenge, and it can often take hours to collect that wood, depending on what kind of scarcity, what kind of wood you have around, what kind of forest. So one of the reasons this bow saw is critical is it allows you to easily saw wood, and it's the only device that'll do it. Now I can build improvised bow saws, and I can do all sorts of things. Let's talk about a standard bow saw. So this is a 50 centimeter, 21 inch standard bow saw with a carbon steel blade. Now it's very, very light, it's very efficient, and it's incredibly strong, made with an aluminum handle. Now, you can say, hey, a wooden handle would be nicer. Absolutely. Why would a wooden handle be nicer? Because it will pull less calories out of you for heat. So what I'm essentially meaning is I'm going to want to wear mitts or gloves when using this bow saw. That aside, it's very, very light. And it's actually easy to store. And you say, no, Bruce, it's horrible to store. I can never store it. It's a really annoying thing. And that's because your bow saw doesn't come with a sheath. And it means that, guess what? You're going to have to make one. So what do? Well, there's the sheaths that I make, and this is just a piece of webbing. This is in reality a piece of an old 1970s lawn chair, but we don't really care. Any kind of webbing will work. Sew on 3 strings, right? And those will be about 30 centimeters or a foot. And there's the second one and the third one. Lay this flat and tie it up. And you end up with that. Works very, very well and is easy to stow. Then you just stow it, either strap it to the side of your pack or drop it inside your pack, strap it to a quad, into the frame, put it on a strap it to the snowmobile, put it in the bottom of your canoe and strap it in. Whatever you're traveling in, this bow saw is your friend. Now, a lot of people tell me, no, I want to have bow saws that are easier or more compact. I looked for a long time for them. This is one of the ones I found here, right? And it's a tube bow saw, and the problem with it is by the time I assembled the thing, my brain had just about exploded. I hated it so much. Now, I thought I'd take it along because then this wouldn't grab on my packs when I'm canoeing. So that was why I thought about it. I said, yeah, but it was so annoying, I hated to even use it. So eventually it got tossed back into where it belonged, which was in my classroom where I use it as a demo. There's a couple other ones. This one's a reasonably good one, Bob Dusterood's quick buck saw. Yeah, with lever action, as he says, but you know, the reality is this saw is hard to assemble, kind of annoying, and twice the weight. Yeah, it's more compact, but it's twice the weight. I mean, you're carrying twice the weight, right? These fence saws, they are very, very, very popular. You see them all over Canada at the stores and stuff like that. The problem with this bow saw is when it assembles in triangle, meaning you get half as much sawing. So this, although it's a full-size blade, will literally only give me the same equivalency of a 40-centimeter saw, meaning at most a 20-centimeter log. It's also annoying to assemble. You got to pull it out. It's got all sorts of parts and everything else. And again, I used it a few times, went, eh, no. And again, twice the weight. So, this little one, the Sawviver, nice saw, lighter, proper blade, but only 40 centimeters, right? And so this saw was one of the few ones that I found met the criteria because I could quickly assemble it. There we are. What's the problem? Well, this is a hacksaw size blade, although this is a wood blade. All right? This is a carbon steel wood blade, so we don't have to worry about that. It's designed for sawing wood, but it's shorter, meaning that 20-centimeter log is about the best I can do, right? So 10 centimeter, assuming this wood is good wood, it's seasoned dead wood, it's actually going to burn, it's going to be gray on the outside or whatever, that'll roughly burn about an hour for 10 centimeter. 20 centimeter, 2 hours, 30 centimeter, 3 hours. Meaning that what we're hoping for overnight is 20 centimeter logs. I can barely do a 20 centimeter log with this. It's really, really hard. So what ends up doing? In summer, I carry this with me. Why? Because it's a little bit easier to take. It's also out of production, which is a really annoying thing. The rest of the time, I carry a real bow saw, and that real bow saw is with a sheath that I have to build. Now, this is a Portuguese blade. I bought this bow saw at Princess Auto, right? You know, so no, sorry, not Princess Auto. I bought this one at Lee Valley Tools. It's got a Portuguese blade. I've also picked up one. There's a good example. It's a little bit longer, and it's actually got a Swedish-made blade, which is very nice. But the rule of thumb I have is if the blade is made in North America or Europe, it's good. If you're going to places and buying a Chinese blade, you're going to probably have to rework it and sharpen it. Often it's not tooled right. They don't bend the ends right, and you have to do an awful lot of work to make that blade work. And so crappy blades made of crappy steel won't do the work. And then what you'll do is you do more work. And I've seen that. People using garbage tools saying, gee, this doesn't seem to work. I'm going back to my axe. Well, that's because you bought garbage. It's like axes that you don't sharpen. It's the same problem. Or an axe that's garbage steel to begin with a crappy handle that doesn't do the job, right? Survival knife has got to be good. Bow saw is the same thing. It's action. You need 40 to 50 centimeters. I prefer 50. 40 like this will work, but 50 is what you want. 50 centimeters, a 21-inch blade, that's the proper thing. So what else do we have around? Well, there's things like this, which is a pruning saw. What's the problem with that? And then you get better pruning saws than this these days. That is a really poor action when I'm going like that. Doesn't work. How about this? Same thing. Nothing you're going to cut with that is any value. It's just not going to work. Plus, this thing is pretty well close. This is just a little bit lighter than this. But what do you get with it? 5 centimeters effective for logs? Like nothing that you're going to save your life with. And what's worse, Wire saws. Wire saws are complete junk. They're absolutely complete junk. The wire saws fall apart. I have one that actually literally disintegrated in a survival tin years ago, right? When I was a private in the infantry, and I thought that was, everyone had to carry one of these survival tins. They'll save your life, which is kind of a joke. But that's life. It was useless. It fell apart. It actually rusted apart. Les Stroud, Survivor Man, in one of his episodes, broke his wire saw before he could actually use it. I was just testing it to make sure he had the idea how it worked, and it broke. Complete junk. Leave them behind. The action like this, same with the chainsaw ice like that, that action is not efficient, it's not effective. With the bow saw, how this works is when you saw out, all you're doing is tracking, and the action that you really prim is when you pull back. So you go this way and pull back, and when you pull back, that's where the sawing really occurs. 75% of your saw action is back, 25% forward, and then back again, and you're pulling that in. When you pull, you're doing that, and you're sawing lots of wood. These saws are incredibly effective, they're incredibly efficient, and they'll do the job. So, critical item number 10 is a bow saw. What do you want to carry? Carbon steel, aluminum, well, if you want a wooden frame, but they're heavy, wooden frame with the ability to saw wood, and quickly. You could build your own in the field. I've done that before. I've taught that all. There's all sorts of saws, the 15-minute saw and everything else, and then you carry only the blade. Problem with that is you still need 2 pieces of wire, and you have to assemble that saw, right? Even if you can do it in 15 minutes, it's there. If you look at the second-day saws, the fancier wooden frame saws, they take time, and you have to find the ingredients and everything else. It's real work to get that saw. Skip pruning saws. Skip wire saws. Carry a real bow saw. It's a life-saving critical item. You can't replicate it in the woods. Remember, if I don't have a bow saw, I'm going to waste 20% of the wood because I'm going to feed the logs in from both ends. You will never, ever have that same efficiency you have. You'll have way more fire management problems. You'll get less sleep, and you'll have more problems keeping that fire maintained and working correctly. It's a lot of work. That's just the way it is. You know, Morris talks about a star fire that during the day you can burn your logs so that they're in a better position. That burns even more than that. I'm not sure how much wood that really would burn. It's an incredibly inefficient system to work through your wood by burning through during the day. But it can be done, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You can do it. You can survive without a bow saw, but you'll be more miserable, you'll get less sleep, and you'll burn way more calories. That's the way it is. So this bow saw is a life-saving critical item. Take it to the woods, find the place to store it, and again, make sure you build a proper sheath to go with it. So, if you like this life-saving survival knowledge you learn on this channel, please support me by following me on YouTube, listening and liking other videos on this channel, and by following me at the Boreal Wilderness Institute on Facebook. Thank you, stay safe, and if you're stranded in the wilderness, just stop and survive.